Online sales are huge. I remember when I started in this industry back in the late 90s, people were going to be really excited when e-commerce started to hit 1% of retail sales. Now we're probably closer to 20%. More and more, e-commerce is the driving force in retail, even if the conversion points are in a store or in a marketplace. The things that are driving interest, demand, and opportunity is really online, because everybody is checking, what are the store's hours? Do they have this in stock? Who's got this on sale? How quickly can I get it? It used to be that everybody was growing towards digital first. Now every consumer across every market for every reason is digital first. Whether you have an online store, an offline store, or if you're a multi-channel retailer, your clients, your customers, the people that you want to buy from you are in fact digital first all the time. An e-commerce retailer, or someone who's trying to sell memberships or create community, or anybody who's trying to do direct to consumer marketing online, has to really think about the fact that you need to build content and every opportunity for your clients, your visitors, to access that content in order for them to make a purchase decision, regardless of whether they're making a purchase. Your site can be a terrific spot to increase your Amazon sales. Your Amazon product listing or store listing can be an amazing spot to drive traffic back to your store, or maybe even into your physical store. You need to be thinking about this not from, I have a product page, how do I drive traffic to it? But you need to actually flip your thinking to, I have people that want to buy my product. How do I get in front of them? In e-commerce marketing, it is becoming more and more clear that things like attribution and click tracking and all of that stuff only tells part of the online story. This is challenging because, first of all, Facebook advertising has changed. I mean, it really hasn't changed in efficacy, but in the way it's measured by Facebook, it's been forced to change. What hasn't really changed is the fact that whatever Facebook is saying is an approximation of what they think is happening from their particular worldview. What Google AdWords is saying is an approximation of what's really happening in the purchase path from their point of view. As a marketer, you have to stop thinking about channels discretely, because that's not how buyers work. That's how advertisers work. Buyers look at multiple channels and multiple touch points in order for you to have an effective growth strategy to match the growth. I think holiday growth of e-commerce was about 14% this year. In order to match market growth, you have to match the way that people are shopping for things. If you are obsessive and thinking, I've got to maximize my Facebook return on ad spend, or I've got to minimize my cost per click in Google AdWords, you are actually missing the point. The point is, you need to figure out how you can most effectively spend money in order to get in front of the shoppers that you want when they are in their purchase mode. This is so challenging because analytics shows you all of these clicks, and Google gives you figures, and Facebook gives you figures, and everyone's telling you their version of the truth. And none of them are right. None of them are real. They're all approximations. They're a small sliver of the truth. You as a marketer, you as an e-commerce brand, need to think that those numbers that the platforms give you, they're keys. It's a guide to how to make that particular channel more effective from their point of view. But that's not what you need to be doing, because making one channel super effective and over-investing in any particular channel puts you at a really big risk, because there could be an algorithm change and what you've been doing no longer works. Or there could be a privacy change and you can no longer track as effectively. As a marketer, you need to think about audience first. Who's my shopper? Where do they get information? How are they likely to interact with me? How many times do I need to engage with them before they're comfortable enough to make a purchase? Do I have all of the content that I need in order to help them understand how my product or offering fits into their life? Those things are incredibly crucial because even though we have become very digital as a society, people still have questions. And if there's no one to ask, or if you can't pick up the product and look at it or try it on, or if there's a sense that you don't know what's going to happen after you click the add to cart button or the buy button, people are going to back away. And unlike a retail store back in the old days when they actually had sales associates, no one's going to come up and say, hey, can I help you? You as a marketer really need to stop thinking, I've got to maximize the return on ad spend in Google, and I've got to maximize my return on ad spend in Facebook, and I've got to maximize my return on ad spend in this channel or that channel. You really need to throw all of that stuff out and really think, do I know who my shopper is? Do I know what questions they have about my product or service? Can I deliver that information and an easy way to make a purchase in an effective way? If you think about advertising, Google and Facebook, they actually don't drive sales at all. What they do is they amplify your content so people can engage with it. Your ad that your agency crafts very delicately and the ad text that you sweat over, that's not what sells the product. That is just how you amplify the other content that you have. Basically, you're distilling all of your content down and fitting it inside of an ad unit so your customer or your prospect can look at it and say, oh, hey, that sounds interesting. When they get to your site, that's when the real work starts. Make sure when you are thinking about return on ad spend that you keep it in the back of your mind that return on ad spend isn't really a metric, frankly, that's worth thinking about a lot, because your ads don't sell. It's your content, your user layout, and your understanding of the audience that sells. Your ads are just a distillation of that to get people to your site so they are opting in to get more content from you. If you want to continue to grow as quickly or more quickly as e-commerce grows, you really need to focus not on the tech or the channels. You need to think about the shopper, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who pull out their credit card or click on Apple Pay or Google Pay. It's not Facebook, it's not Google. They're not making the purchases. Human beings are. You have to remember that your highly trackable, highly technical, really infuriating, algorithmically driven advertising channels exist for one reason. It's not to drive sales. It's to put your business in front of somebody's face when they're thinking about buying. That's it. You can make your life as a marketer a lot easier by thinking very simply, does this set of ads perform that task? Does it represent the value that I want to give? Is it getting in front of the right shoppers when they're thinking about making a purchase? All of the stuff that we worry about as digital marketers, return on ad spend and click-through rates, those aren't the metrics to optimize towards. You need to optimize towards the strategy of making sure that your ads are being shown to the right people, they're saying the right things, and they are amplifying your value. That's what online commerce growth looks like today. It is technical, it is bits and bytes and all that sort of stuff. But more than ever, it is you understanding your shopper, effectively creating a high impact distillation of what your value is, and then delivering as much information as your shopper needs to make a decision when they get to your site.